Hello everyone, when you start a new software project, what is the most important decision that you will make? It's not about the framework, it's not about the language, it's not about the database. The most important decision I consider is about the architecture for your project, because the architecture is the plan that you will follow to organize your code, and a good plan helps your project to grow faster. A bad plan can create a lot of problems later. Today I want to share my architecture that I choose for my project LingoLoop and explain why I choose it. Let's start. Okay, for LingoLoop I choose the clean architecture. This is a famous diagram that explains the idea. This is the diagram of the clean architecture. This diagram looks a little complicated, but the main idea is very simple. Let me explain why. The architecture is divided into layers like an onion. The most important rule is the dependency rule. The dependency rule is about the inner layers like entities, use cases, or controllers cannot knowing anything about the other layers like gateways, the database, the UX, UI, the framework that I use. In other words, it means that our business logic doesn't know what database we are using or what framework we are using. The business rules are independent. This is incredibly powerful because if you want to change your logic of your application, that most of them are in the controller, you can apply this change without broke the whole core of the application. That's one of the main reasons that I use the clean architecture into my code. How does look into a real project folder? Let me explain how it looks like. Okay, for my LingoLoop backend, as you can see, the folders are organized based on their role in the architecture. Let me explain the flow of the request. First, in the source folder, we can see the routes folder. In this folder, I define the API inbox like out, like login, like my landing page for my emails, customers, and more. These routes work when a request comes in. I may go through the middlewares. The middlewares are here in this folder. This handle things like authentication to make sure the user is logged, and maybe validate the course or some other things like an error handler, validator handler, and more. Next to the request passing for the middlewares, I use the schemas or validate the structure to my request. In this folder, we can see some schemas. This function has a validator for each row inside of the request. After passing this check as a validation, the rows call and a function or a core business logic into my service folder. You can see my service folder is in this folder. In this folder, I handle or I manage the whole logic, the application. For example, the logic for generate a new LinkedIn post is in a service. The logic to log in a new customers is in this part of my application. Okay, moving to the next one, I want to talk about my entities. Is in my folders called DB. In this folder, I have the structure to my data, like my users, like my post. This is the innermost layer in the whole architecture. In this part, we can handle the connection with my database. I can run migrations. I can revert migrations. I can configure what database or framework I will use. For this project, I am using LingoLoop. Okay, and finally, if I need to connect an external service that an email provider or more providers, we can use the folder called lives or libraries. In this folder only have the SQLite config, and of course the utils. We can handle my strategies to manage the out 2.0 connect with the Google Gmail. This is very powerful and is very new for my customers when they want to use my app. Okay, why did I choose this? There is four main benefits. That's the reason because I choose this architecture. The first one is because it's independent. The business logic in my services, like user service, app service, landing page service, is separate from my framework and the database that I'm using at this project. Moving to the second one benefit, it's about it's testable. It's very easy to test my business logic without needing a database or a web service. Moving to the benefit number 3, it's organized. It's very clear where to put new code as the project grows. And last but not least is scalable. This structure makes it easy for me to maintain the application and for any new developers to understand the code in the future. Okay, choosing an architecture is a big decision, but using a clear architecture gives me a confidence that LingoLoop is built in a strong foundation that I can grow and change in the future. Now I want to hear from you. What is your favorite architecture for a new project? Do you use a model view controllers or use a clean architecture or something else? Please leave your comment below and I want to hear from you and your experience. Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.